going on, guys? Thank you so much for coming back to The Bearded Life. I'm Joe, and this is episode 4 of the Chronicles of the Bearded Dad. Thanks for joining me again. Ding, 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 ding. Round 4. And thank you guys so much for sticking with me through the first 3 episodes and for all the comments and all the feedback and everything from everyone. It really has been amazing. Really is just something special to see what this community does when they rally around someone and really show all the support that they can and do all that they can for, be it a reviewer or a company or whatever. All right, I'm done. So we left off. I was in the middle of my fight with CPS or DIFUS or whatever you want to call them, Children's Protective Services. And it became a cycle of rinse and repeat, if you will. So it was go to court, get told that this wasn't done, go for more drug tests, pass the drug test, go to court, go to drug test, go to court, and it went on like this for a few months. And I had passed a urine test, I had passed a saliva test, I had passed a blood test. I had done all the things they had asked me to do until they'd asked me if I was willing to do a hair follicle test. Now, of course, to me, I was like, absolutely, I got nothing to hide, let's do it, right? So they order the hair follicle test, and I start doing my research on the hair follicle test. A hair follicle test is exactly what it sounds like. They take a piece of your hair all the way down to the root, and through the test that they use, it can tell them whether or not you've used drugs in the past. And I mean way in the past. Apparently this test can go back 1 to 3 years, if I'm correct, depending on the length of your hair and such like that. I know it can go back up to a year for a fact. So first time I went, and here comes the annoyance. You guys see my head right now? Okay, you see it? My hair has been this short, this size, forever now. Okay, I've always shaved my head or gotten a fade, which I had skin tight, by the way. Okay, so when they ordered the test, they saw my hair. Okay, and back then I didn't have the beard either. All right, I was one of those punks with the little straight lines and all that stuff, thinking I looked as cool as could be. No offense to anyone rocking that style, but I wasn't really doing this. Okay, I had a much shorter beard at the time. So when they ordered the test, I go, and they're like, well, your hair's not long enough. And I said, well, they knew it was this long, though. I don't understand. And they wouldn't take the hair from anywhere else. So now this process gets extended. And again, it's amazing what your mind will shut out. In the last video, I told you guys it took about 3 months. No, it was actually about 8 months. This was 8 months of my life. I went and found the paperwork and all after the last episode to kind of jog my memory a bit of all the things that went down. And it was actually about 8 months total from when the court date started and all that other stuff. I'm not really counting when they first came around. I'm counting the court dates and all those things. So now they're telling me it has to wait a while. So they pushed the test back for me to go and let my hair grow, basically. So now I can't do anything. I can't have a haircut, none of that stuff. I just got to let my hair grow and hope that by the time they've scheduled the next test, that my hair is long enough for them to do this test. So it's about a month and some change. I think it was a little bit under a month and a half when they scheduled the next appointment. So I go, and luckily my hair is long enough. They take the hair, I leave. Now, during this whole process, my ex-wife has had to go through her own thing. She was battling her own demons, all that good stuff. So I'm sitting here very much at complete anxiety level 1,000 at this point, because I don't know if something goes wrong here. I don't know what's going to happen, because my ex-wife isn't in a good place and they don't seem to trust me at all. It does not seem like DIFUS has any faith in me whatsoever at this point. So the court date finally comes, and I haven't heard word boo about my hair follicle test, right? And a weird, I won't say weird, I'm sorry, that's a bad word to use. A scary development has happened before the court date. My ex-wife has landed herself in jail. And that means that this is a very serious situation for me, because obviously they can't put Sammy Cakes back with her at this point. So now it falls on me. And if something goes wrong with my test, well, then what? What are they going to do with my daughter now? So I show up to the court date, and this is where I promised you guys I would be 100% real, authentic, and honest with you guys from the door. And I find the woman who's been running my case, and I asked her, I said, what happened with the test results? What's going on? And she tells me that it came back positive for cocaine. And I was a bit in shock, a bit surprised. However, I'm not one of these people that was going to sit here and say, there's no way it's true. What I did was I admitted to myself that, you know what? About a year ago, you were in a pretty bad spot. Your ex had kicked you out. You were upset. You were pissed off. And you did something you shouldn't have done. It happened. It was a 2-night thing, actually. I'm sorry. It was a 2-night thing where I thought it was a good idea to get past all that was going on. This should just show you guys real quick that doing something stupid because something bad has happened is never a good idea. It doesn't make things better. It compounds things and makes it worse. So now I was left in a very awkward situation here. What do? I decided that the best route through this thing was to go and tell my lawyer the truth. And mind you, this is a public defender, so this hasn't been the easiest of processes here. I'm not holding anything against him. This guy probably has a caseload that's about 20 to 30 cases every day, So remembering my name and my situation probably isn't that easy for him. So I went to my public defender and I told him what was going on. And he said, well, okay, it's there. What happened? And I was honest with him. I said, listen, I was separated from my ex, kicked out of the house, went out with some friends, thought it was a good idea, definitely wasn't, haven't used it again since. And if you look, I passed a blood test, a saliva test, a urine test. All those things cover the last few days, the last few months, and the last few weeks. I'm clean. I haven't used anything, haven't used it since, and I'm not going to use it again. So he turns to me and says, it was a hair follicle test? And I said, yes. So now we go into the courtroom. And he tells me that he's going to just lay the facts out for the judge and see what the judge says. Walking into that courtroom, I felt like somebody was ripping out my guts. It was easily one of the hardest moments of my life because I knew I had done something wrong. I knew it had been a while since I had done this, but I didn't know if they were going to hold this against me or not. I walk into the courtroom and they bring my ex in, who was unfortunately incarcerated at the time. And I'm going, what is going to happen? And she's as scared as I am because she understands that we have both made choices that have led us here. We have both done things that have gotten us to this point, and we both did not look out for each other. So obviously they can't get rid of my ex, and they bring me up. And almost immediately the DYFS lawyer says, well, he failed the drug test. And the judge goes, really? And my lawyer stands up and says, Your Honor, my client admits to using cocaine. It was about a year ago. This was a hair follicle exam they gave him, and that can go back up to a year. The judge then turns to the DYFS lawyer and says, can this test pin down for me when he used this? And the DYFS lawyer said no. And he goes, so it could have been a year ago. And the lawyer says, yes, that is possible. It could have been a year ago. And the judge said, well, then this test is useless to me. What I've got in front of me is 5 past urine screens that he's passed, 3 blood tests that he's passed, and 2 salivas that he's passed. So that tells me that while he made a dumb mistake once upon a time, he's obviously gotten himself straightened out and he's not doing anything stupid now. Case closed. I'm giving full custody and rights to Mr. Downey, and I was absolutely just 100% through the roof. Like, this had been the longest war of my life. And they were trying to take from me the only thing that mattered. So for me to hear those words, to know that this was finally over, I don't think there's any words that'll ever express exactly what I was feeling that day. It was the worst feeling in the world walking in and the best feeling in the world walking out. I had so many people that doubted me and didn't think I deserved to get my daughter back. So getting her back, and I'm saying getting her back, but I never really lost her, but I wasn't allowed to be alone with her either. I wasn't allowed to be a dad. So getting my rights back, that's probably the better way to put it here, was the single biggest victory in my life. Easy. I don't care, surgeries, whatever. Getting the rights back and showing everyone that I was the father I said I was from the beginning was the biggest victory of my life. You know, this isn't the end of these videos. I've got more to go, but this whole front saga here, this whole situation, it taught me quite a few things. Number one, doing something stupid because something bad happened isn't a good idea. It just compounds things and makes it worse. And number two, that quote from Rocky, man, it always holds true. Nobody hits as hard as life, but this world isn't about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep coming. You can't stay down. You can't give up, and you have to keep fighting. Whew. Getting through these first four has been, it's been a trial and a half, but we're here. And I promised you guys I would be honest with you, and I have been. And I hope you guys continue to join me along the journey. What happened to me and Sam from here, it's a whole different world now. Yes, I've got full custody, but for the first time in my life, I am 100% a single dad. It becomes something that defines me and changes me forever. And I hope you guys come back for the next episode. Thank you guys so much for staying with me through this. Stay bearded. Stay safe out there.